Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be discussing about Andromeda Robotics' most recent groundbreaking invention, Abby the robot. My name is Brandon Yao Chen Yong.
My name is Emmanuel Joe Jeffrey.
My name is Kevin Slyway Young.
And I'm Mohammed Binti Mustafic. The content we'll be covering today includes content analysis, the innovation deep dive, strategic implementations and their success factors, global expansion impacts, and finally we will conclude with a recommendation.
I will now introduce Andromeda Robotics. Andromeda Robotics is a Melbourne-based startup co-founded in 2022 by mechatronics engineer Grace Brown. Their key milestone is to launch Australia's first humanoid production line with its flagship robot Abby. The company's mission is to create robots that not only assist but connect with humans on an emotional level. I will now talk about the contextual analysis. There are three main factors that led to the need for innovation: socio-economic factors, technological factors, and competitive factors. Firstly, for the socio-economic factors, 1 in 6 Australians right now are aged 65 and above. This aging trend can be observed in countries like Japan and Europe. This can create challenges like strain on healthcare, rising aged care costs, labor shortages, and increasing demand for specialized care, which leads to the need for innovation. Their robot Abby can help reduce loneliness, improve well-being, and offer more cost-effective, sustainable solutions. Secondly, for the technological factors, artificial intelligence are rising rapidly. Robots back in the day could only handle simple repetitive tasks, but now they are capable of providing humans with emotional support and engagement. For example, Paro the therapeutic seal helps reduce the loneliness and improves relaxation for the patients, while Pepper the humanoid social robot helps interact and form genuine connections with the humans. And lastly, for the competitive factors, Japan and China are leading in humanoid robotics, with Pepper and Paro already implemented in aged care facilities, which makes Australia risk falling behind. And Andromeda's response to this was to create Australia's first humanoid production line with its flagship robot Abby. Abby can speak over 90 languages, which support global diversity. It can also remember past conversations and is fully autonomous without needing an on-site engineer to operate. Most importantly, Abby focuses on empathy and human connection, which separates it from existing AIs like Siri and Alexa, which lacks emotional depth. I will now pass it on to Brandon to talk more about product innovation.
Alright, thank you Kevin for that extremely detailed analysis. Now, let's take a look at the type of innovation that can be found in Abby, in which case will be product innovation. Product innovation refers to the introduction of a new model that has either improved features or better quality that will further suit the market's needs. Now, let's take a deep look at how exactly innovation impacts Abby's overall design. Now, Abby runs an extremely unique empathy-driven software as its core AI tool. How this works is that it utilizes advanced AI learning tools such as convolutional neural networks as well as recurrent neural networks to power its artificial intelligence. How this functions is that it essentially replays images and audio clips of people going through different emotional feelings, such as happy, anxious, sad, or even grief. This means that slowly over time, Abby is able to learn to identify those emotions in real time. Furthermore, Abby utilizes emotional intelligence and animation-driven expressiveness to further humanize its interactions with humans. What this means is that Abby is not only trained to identify those emotions, but also to respond to those emotions in a more appropriate fashion. For example, if the elderly person that Abby is interacting with is a bit more sad or feeling depressed, Abby will respond in a kinder, more empathetic tone. On the other hand, if the elderly person that Abby is interacting with sounds more happy and energetic, Abby, as a result, will react in a more upbeat and playful manner. Now, let's see how exactly Abby differentiates itself from models on the market that are slightly more traditional. In this case, the robot Atlas from Boston Dynamics. So, we can see that Abby has a focus on human relationships. As a result, there's an extremely strong focus on emotional awareness as it's conducting its work. Furthermore, as Abby's functions is to work in an elderly care center, Abby puts an emphasis on companionship, because Abby is not only there to interact with the elderly people, but to form actual friendships between human and robot. Finally, Abby has a really strong awareness as to building human relationships. This is because Abby is not only there to interact with the humans and reduce their feelings of loneliness, but to become a friend to those elderly people at the care center. This varies greatly from most traditional AI models such as Atlas from Boston Dynamics. This is because up until today, most AI models have one focus in mind, which is agility, speed, precision. All in all, the key focus of most AI models is for efficiency, to solve tasks that normal humans would be unable to cope with. In this case of Boston Dynamics, they prioritize Atlas to have strength, agility, and precision to better suit industrial usages, such as carrying heavy loads, or even doing manufacturing and conducting tasks that most humans would be unable to do for long periods of time. Furthermore, this AI was built for harsher environments, such as extreme heat or tundra conditions. This is because AI back in the day were more focused on being able to accomplish tasks that most humans will be unable to cope with, both physically and mentally. Now, this can highlight that how Abby the robot is able to differentiate itself as a more human-oriented AI versus more traditional efficiency-targeted artificial intelligence. That's the end of my slides. I'll be passing it to Mohana. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernard, for the explanation. Now, I'll be moving on to the strategic implementations and the success factors that Andromeda has used. Two of the key strategies happens to be forming a partnership and establishment of a production line. So, firstly, what is partnership? Partnership is when two organizations collaborate for mutual benefit. This could be to expand market reach, build credibility, or also helps to prevent the barriers of entry. How Andromeda has utilized partnership is to have partnership with a well-known, respected aged care provider in Australia. This helped them deploy their flagship AI, Abby, into 22 facilities nationwide, and also gain feedbacks from the residents and staff to generate another AI called Genesis Abby, or Gabby. This will build customer loyalty as they feel more included in the production process. In fact, 40% of the elderly population in Australia is reported to feel lonely at least once a week. This shows the importance of AI like Abby in the market. Therefore, building trust and credibility by partnering with an already well-known business in the market will act as an endorsement effect for others to also embrace it as well. In comparison to them, SoftBank Pepper Robot failed to gain similar recognitions and eventually had to be discontinued because of the lack of real-world integration. Moving on, I will be talking about what is production line. Production line is a system when products are manufactured step by step in a sequence. This is extremely important because it can reduce the cost per unit through economics of scale while also maintaining a consistent quality. Now, let's look into how they used production line in Andromeda. Andromeda is the first humanoid robot production line. They went from creating small prototypes into large-scale products. How this helps is they can produce large-scale products, and through economies of scale, it also reduces the cost per unit, allowing them to supply to higher demands. As 35 per 1,000 employees are in shortage in the elderly healthcare sector, this creates a high demand, especially since it is cost saving for providers, as research shows that 10 Abby robots is able to replace 5 workers by saving 400,000 Australian dollars, thereby increasing the demand for Abby. This is why Andromeda could gain financial gains through this. By using partnership and production line, it can build trust, credibility, and also recognition in the market, and placing Andromeda in a spot to gain higher recognition and longevity in the market.
Talking about the global expansion impact, we'll be covering the financial gain and the global market presence. So, one of the factors are higher revenue from international sales. Expanding into Japan and Germany will boost sales volumes. Japan has one of the world's oldest population with 28% over 65 years old. Even a small share of this market will generate millions in revenue, reducing the reliance in the smaller Australian market. Now we have the economies of scale. Andromeda's new humanoid robot production line enables mass production. Larger outputs lowers unit costs and improves profit margins. Like Toyota, which keeps prices competitive through large-scale production, Bme can become more affordable and attractive to overseas buyers. Next, we have the strategic outcome. Strategic profits create financial stability. This allows reinvestment in research and development, such as building culturally tailored robots with local languages and social features. This reinvestment reassures long-term growth and global leadership in empathetic robots. Now, I will be looking forward to the global market presence. First, we have the greater visibility and credibility. By entering international markets, Andromeda gains recognition as a leader in empathetic robotics. Just as Apple and Samsung built credibility through global reach, wider visibility attracts investors, partners, and skilled employees. Now we'll be looking at the reputational effect through partnerships. Partnerships overseas, similar to Mekwa Care collaboration in Australia, provide trust and smoother adoption. Local partners understand regulations and customer needs, helping Andromeda enter markets more quickly and effectively. Next, we'll be looking at comparison to the real-world case. Tesla expanded into Europe and China with gigafactories, which strengthened its position as the global EV leader. In the same way, Bme's international rollout could make Andromeda the benchmark in socially intelligent care robots, forcing competition to catch up. And lastly, I'll be looking at the strategic outcome. A stronger global reputation increases investors' confidence and attracts government and industry partnerships. This recognition secures Andromeda's position as a global innovator, ensuring long-term competitiveness and influence in the robotics sector. Now, I'll be passing this on to Mohona.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for the explanation. Finally, I'll be talking about a recommendation for Andromeda to appeal to more younger audiences like millennials and Gen Zs. They could do this by simply using social media platforms. Why I say this is because these target audiences tend to have screen time of about 6.7 to 7.4 hours daily. And most of this time is spent on social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. By creating short videos of Bme engaging with elderly population to reduce loneliness and also reducing the strain of overworked employees, this can appeal to the values of younger audiences and also build Andromeda's visibility. Furthermore, by collaborating with influencers could build trust because younger audiences tend to view influencers as a creditable source. Finally, by representing Bme as not only a technological advancement but also a socially impactful product, Andromeda could build trust and engage with more younger customers. Thank you for listening. Have a great day ahead.